Hi everyone, welcome to the day 9 of the Positivity Podcast. And today I want to cover something that's being talked about all over the world, something that I came across a couple of days ago when I was being a part of an online meeting, and a lot of people in that meeting were not confident to use the tool that is Zoom. So, have you been using Zoom? I'm sure you also must have heard about these inhibitions that everyone has, or you may have them as well, because because of the security issues that have been reported in Zoom. Now, during these times, when I've been doing these podcasts, I've been getting feedback that the camera quality was not good, and because I have been using my laptop camera so far. So I hope that the camera quality for this particular episode is better than the previous episodes. I'm using my phone camera this time, and I've been also doing some research on doing better podcasting to say. And I've been finding a lot of resources on this. I'm trying to publish a blog post on this soon. Now, coming to the security issues that were reported in Zoom, and is it safe to use really? So, talking about that, there were two issues that were reported in Zoom. The first issue was that your the data from your computer was leaking to Facebook servers without you knowing about it. Now, the story behind that is when people try to develop these kind of tools, they will try to use components from different websites. For example, the developer in Zoom wanted to have a login with Facebook kind of a feature, and which is why they use an SDK from Facebook. Now, while using the SDK, the part that was left in there was the part which was sending basic data from your machine to Facebook servers. The data, like it could be about your screen size, the amount, the kind of camera quality you have, and things like that. So this is not really critical data from your machine which is being leaked out to Facebook. Now, what's been happening about this? Something that has changed is Zoom has fixed this issue, and the second fact is that Apple has also released a silent update. I've also been seeing constantly that these issues are only reported in Macintosh OS, which means if you are using Windows OS, there is a higher probability you don't have to worry about these things. The second issue that's more that's more worrying to a lot of people is the end-to-end encryption, and that has to do more. Oh, thank you for joining, Lina. Now, the second issue that has been reported is that it's not secure. People can peep in to the conversations that you have been having. Well, the end-to-end encryption part, it's not as fancy and it's not as commonly needed as you might think. You don't really need an end-to-end encryption for doing a common call between, let's say, you and your family members. Thank you for joining, Mahesh, for this podcast. So that's a new feature. That's something which is lacking. This feature of seeing who all have joined into the live podcast is visible in the phone, not visible in the computer. So I think I'm going to continue to use my phone for this. Coming back to the encryption part, I think the encryption issue is not that big of a deal. It is not needed in our day-to-day scenario. Further, the text feature that you have, the chat function that goes on into Zoom, that function is protected with an end-to-end encryption, which means your messages that you are putting in the chat, they are for sure secured. Now, coming to the end-to-end encryption part, this is at the moment at the same level which you have with HTTPS. The same level of trust that you put when you see a certificate or a log icon when accessing a website, the same level of trust you can put into Zoom because it is having that kind of security. I'm sure their team is currently working on getting this issue fixed because, my friends, in the end, Zoom has some security issues. It's a complex software, and all complex softwares have bugs. Some of those bugs are security relevant, but take into the consideration that the engineers, the marketers, the leadership of Zoom are neither dumb or neither evil. So you can judge Zoom on its response to the security threats that have been reported. They have been really quick to respond to this, and they have taken actions to ensure that they are protected. Now, while we do this, I hope that the information that I have shared today is important and it's relevant to you, as we most of us have been using Zoom along with WebEx and some other remote collaboration tools. So it is safe to use Zoom. The security issues that are there, maybe what you can do is set a password. Set a password for each and every meeting so that nobody is able to join your meetings without you knowing about them. So setting up a password for every meeting, I think that's a basic thing that we can all do, and that would certainly keep us safe. Yesterday was the special day when all of us had those diyas and we were having our torches in the phone. We were standing in the balcony, and I could see the entire building inside my community being entirely lit up. It was so amazing to see, and I really should thank Modi ji for coming up with this idea. And it was a brilliant idea to do. So thank you, Kirti, for joining in. I'm sure, Kirti, you are also part of Toastmasters, and we use Zoom quite heavily. I hope these inputs would be helpful to you as well, as a lot of members and community from Toastmasters have also come across these issues like that. And talking about the positivity, overall, I think we should remain positive. Today, I was listening to a book by Norman Vincent Peale, and the name of the book is The Power of Positive Thinking. And I've come across a really good story in that book, which I'm planning to share tomorrow with all of you. But if you want to hear that story, you can put into the message, and I'm more than interested in telling you the story today itself. Last but not the least, the positive affirmations, very, very important. Let's try to repeat these affirmations with me, as wherever you are. So the first affirmation being, I cultivate peace in my mind, heart, and body. And the second one is, I'm healthy to be an example of health and happiness to everyone around me. I will be an example of I will be an example to my family of health and powerful fitness. I will think positive in each and every situation every day. And the last one is, I am positive. So thank you for joining with me on the 9th day of the Positivity Podcast. I hope this podcast is adding value and a small amount of positivity in your life. As we connect together, we are able to collaborate together, and I am hoping to see all of you again tomorrow in the 10th episode, where we delve deeper into the story from Dr. Norman Vincent Peale's book, which is The Power of Positive Thinking. So thank you very much and have a great day ahead.